Growing up, every kid who loves sports dreams of playing in college or the pros with their best friend. With a kid's imagination, backyard games turn into stadiums filled with people screaming your names as you play in the championship game. For most, this backyard dream is as close as it ever gets to the real thing. This is the story of two friends living out that dream, and doing so with a legacy of another childhood friend in their hearts. It's Pro Day at Central Michigan University. For former Chippewa wide receivers Khalil Pimpleton and Ja'Cory Sullivan, this is one of the days they've been training for, a chance to perform in front of NFL scouts. And with their former teammate Bernard Ryman widely projected as a first-round pick, there are plenty of scouts in attendance.
My situation, a lot of scouts wanted to see me move and how fast I can get in and on my cut, so I feel like today I showed that pretty well.
It's another step toward their dream of playing in the NFL. A dream they've chased together since they were little kids.
Yeah, Ja'Cory, I was with Ja'Cory from the time I started up until now.
I met KP, I think we met in kindergarten or first grade.
Growing up in Muskegon, Sullivan, Pimpleton, and their friends Andrew Ward and DeMonte Neal were always playing football together.
We've been playing together since first grade, man. We all went to Moon Elementary together, and that was when we all first met.
Dreaming of the NFL was a constant topic of conversation, especially for Sullivan and Pimpleton.
It always was the NFL, man. Like, mainly for those guys, man. I had dreams and aspirations to play, but it wasn't as deep as those guys, man. It's, mainly Ja'Cory and Khalil, they always dreamed and talked about it.
But everyone in the group imagined themselves playing high school ball for the Muskegon Big Reds.
Played on Saturdays, but the day before every game, man, we would go up on Friday nights and see Muskegon play.
High school football is a big deal in Muskegon. The Big Reds won 3 state championships in the 2000s. They won again in 2017 and have made it to the state title game 7 times since 2012.
Being there on Friday night, watching those guys, couldn't wait to get to that level. Once we finally got to that level, we really just tried to enjoy the whole thing.
Getting to play for the Big Reds meant a lot to the 4 friends, especially DeMonte Neal.
He grew over the years, grew a lot over the years, playing football. So especially with the Big Reds, he loved it, I mean, when I say he loved it, he loved it.
The 4 friends became integral parts of one of the most talented teams in Muskegon history.
Trey, man, let's get it. Big Red Nation, let's get it.
As a senior in 2016, Pimpleton, standing just 5'8" and weighing 165 pounds, was a finalist for the Mr. Football Award. A do-it-all kid who played some quarterback, some slot receiver, and returned kicks. Sullivan, Ward, and Neal all had great years as well. Together, they helped lead Muskegon to the state championship game, where the Big Reds suffered a heartbreaking loss on a last-minute touchdown. For DeMonte Neal, that was the end of his football playing days. But Pimpleton, Sullivan, and Ward all fielded Division I offers. Sullivan headed to Central Michigan, Ward to Nebraska, and Pimpleton to Virginia Tech. After his freshman season, Pimpleton decided to transfer, and Sullivan went into recruiting mode.
I think he was trying to go to NIU. And I'm like, bro, come on, bro. Like, why would you go to NIU out of all schools? Like, yeah, they color is nice and, you know what I'm saying, all dandy and that. But, like, come to Central, man. You're going to be playing with me. And you know how we got, you know how we was when we was playing the 7-on-7. And we can do that on the field. Again, we was doing it in high school, and we could just run it back again.
Pimpleton ultimately became a Chippewa, and a short time later, Ward announced he'd be joining them.
After they found out I was transferring, man, Khalil had already transferred here from Virginia Tech. And just the thought of just being back with my brothers, being back together, playing on the same field, it was just, I don't know, nothing else was, really ringing a bell in my head at the time.
CMU, baby, fire up!
The childhood friends were reunited once again. Playing at Central Michigan allowed DeMonte Neal and other Muskegon friends to come and root them on.
It was crazy, man, just being able to have our friends, like DeMonte and the rest of our circle, come here because it's only a 2-hour drive, from Muskegon. So just having us all back together, after the games and things like that, those are the best times, really.
But in the middle of the 2019 season, Ward would see his football dreams come to an abrupt end.
I went to block somebody on a kickoff return, and I kind of led with my head wrong, and I fractured my C5. So my body went limp, and it was just an awkward hit, really.
From the sidelines, he continued to support his team and his lifelong friends. Sullivan and Pimpleton made sure Ward felt supported too.
They both dedicated the game to me and wore the number 43 for a whole game. So that and they both actually scored in it, man. That was a good moment for me, man. And I realized that that really helped me a lot more, than I thought at the time.
Pimpleton would go on to lead the MAC in receiving yards and total receptions that season. Sullivan finished tied for third in the conference in both categories. Both were named first-team All-MAC, and the Chippewas made an incredible turnaround. After finishing 1-11 the season before, Central Michigan made it to the MAC championship game.
It was good. It was a movie. We was getting a lot of feedback from fans and our family. Like, we had the majority of the whole city come to the games, and it was just awesome.
Their dominance on the field together was everything Sullivan and Pimpleton had dreamed about. But in January of 2020, they received news that would change everything. DeMonte Neal had been shot and killed in a Muskegon home. He was 21 years old.
That's my brother, man. We've been through a lot together.
I know they say it's no such thing as perfect, but he was perfect in my eye. Yeah. He was a great kid, He was loved by a lot of people,
Neal was an older brother, a son, a friend, a boyfriend, and just 5 months before his death, he had become a father. During my conversation with his mother, there was a knock at the door. It was someone coming to drop off DeMonte's daughter, Queen. April Neal returned to the Zoom with the now 2-year-old on her lap.
Is this Queen here?
Yes, it's the Queen.
How do you see DeMonte in her?
Spin image, from, her eyes sleep, the way she sleep just like him, sleep just like him, Like his brother came downstairs the other day, saw him sleep, he was like, "Oh, you'll sleep just like your daddy. You sleep just like my brother." So she, just a spin image of my son, when I know, they say once, you lose a life and you gain one. So I know I gained a life, and she's living through him,
Protector. Everyone I talk to comes back to that one word when remembering DeMonte Neal.
Strong-willed, man. Very determined, a protector. Most of all, a very great protector of his family.
That's our big brother. Just protective of us and so supportive.
The news hit Ward, Pimpleton, and Sullivan hard. The three of them were all in Muskegon on holiday break when the shooting happened.
But we immediately got back here to Mount Pleasant, so we can be in our apartment together. So that was the biggest part, just being together, man. And a lot of the times it was just awkward silence, but just that presence of being together helped a lot, man, during those times.
We just supported each other throughout that process. You know what I'm saying? It was a healing process for us, so we just made sure we was doing fine mentally.
The three remain committed to preserving Neal's memory and legacy any way they can.
We talked about Corey and Khalil's skills camp that they're hosting in Muskegon every year, and we talking about changing that name in dedication to DeMonte. Also, we called him Slick, so we were going to call it Slick Skills Camp.
The three of them have necklaces they often wear with Neal's picture, and Sullivan had a picture of Neal tattooed on his bicep.
I try to do this, I try to flex, because like I said, I put him right here. So I try to flex during football games and first downs and stuff, so people can see his face. So I want the world to know who he is and what he stands for and everything too.
Sullivan and Pimpleton inch ever closer to fulfilling those backyard dreams of reaching the NFL with their best friend. But without Neal, Pimpleton says there's a piece of the dream that's missing.
I play for him because we had this running joke that, when I did make it, he was gonna be my bodyguard. Me and him the same size, so you usually have somebody that's bigger than you being your bodyguard. But we would always say that when I made it, he was gonna be me and Ja'Cory's bodyguard.
He was always a little aggressive, on the aggressive side, so he definitely would have been a great bodyguard. He always said it too, always.
Yeah, he loved them like his own brothers, and like I said, he wanted to see they'll make it, and that's what they do. And like I said, I know he's with them. He's watching over them. And, I know he's just smiling down on them right now, happy.
It's Pro Day at Central Michigan University. Ja'Cory Sullivan and Khalil Pimpleton are running the 40-yard dash and catching passes at the CMU turf building. On the surface, it's nothing special to look at. But if you look a little closer, you'll see Andrew Ward on the sidelines, watching and rooting them on. If you look a little closer, you'll see DeMonte Neal's face on Sullivan's bicep. If you look a little closer, you'll see these drills are the next step in the pursuit of a childhood dream. All that's missing is their bodyguard.
He's definitely one of the reasons that I'm going so hard today, because I know that he would love to see us, make it to that point. So, even though, he's not here physically with us, he is our bodyguard spiritually.
The win over Pine River was the 12th straight for Lake City.
Good take, Maya. First group back in.
And after following that up with an 8-day break from game action, the Trojans are well rested and feeling good heading into the final stretch of the regular season.
Nice. Good cut, Kenzie. Good find, Riley.
6 games are all that remain.
Way to look up, Alex!
And 4 of the next 5 are right here in their home gym.
Alex, good pass ahead. Bailey, good finish.
In high school sports, there's nothing like a home game. It's the familiar gym that you spend hours practicing in every day, the familiar faces in the crowd. And in Lake City, it's the familiar voice narrating the night's action.
At forward number 1, Emma Nickerson. The announcing kind of started, it's pushing 30 years. It was like, I think, 97 when we got our new track. So we started announcing track, and that kind of went into other things. I did football the next year, and then basketball came after that.
Jeff Hingston is the voice of Lake City athletics, but he's much more to this community than just a public address announcer.
I feel like he's somehow at the heart of our program, even if he doesn't coach or do anything other than talk. He's just there, and we need him there.
Hingston is a teacher in the school district and a former coach himself. He taught many of the Trojan players when they were in 5th or 6th grade.
It's really cool to watch the progression, to see them grow up, mature. Like for this group of young ladies here, or even the gentlemen that I've watched over the years. See them become young adults is very cool.
He's always just been like a funny guy. Like, you want to be around him. I remember in 5th grade, he would just like always be messing with us. Like, you could be having the worst day ever, and he'd make it better. That just stuck with me. So having him around now is like the same thing. I just know it's gonna be a good day when he's in the gym.
I had the privilege of teaching with him. I was 4th grade teacher. He was 5th grade teacher. Coached football with him, so I've gotten to know him pretty well over the years. Awesome guy, super genuine, nice guy. Do anything for anyone, and he's the voice of Lake City. Everyone can recognize that voice.
Mackenzie Bisbal.
In 30 years behind the mic, Hingston has seen a lot of Lake City teams come and go, but he says this year's Trojans are a truly special group that the community has rallied around.
We had that team that made the semifinal run a few years back with Mackenzie's older sister, Riley. It would be interesting to see how they'd match up, head to head. There were big expectations coming into this year. Yeah, we lost a few pieces last year, but getting Allie actually being able to play this year, that's huge. So the community's been there from the get-go.
The community has been there from the start this year, but it's Hingston who's helped raise their energy in the biggest games.
Of course, the crowd's always big when it's McBain. Everett was really pumped up when they came up here. I mean, they had the student spec bus and everything. Just that level of electricity those nights and the support from our fans that were on the home side has been incredible.
Hingston brings a certain flair to Lake City home games, from his voice to his taste in music over the loudspeakers.
It's definitely dynamic, and I think he makes it fun. I find myself, bopping along to whatever he's playing on the side.
It's just fun to do. I love getting the crowd pumped up. I love, announcing the girl's name, watching them get excited, the guys' names, depending on what sport it is. it's just fun.
Fun is what the Lake City program is all about. It's what keeps assistant coach Katie Richardson coming back year after year.
I really like that it's mostly focused on fun and just getting better. And I like that Bill and I have kind of structured practice post guard breakdown a lot more, which is not necessarily something you see at a high school level, but I think it builds confidence in players.
This is Richardson's 5th season as an assistant. From working with the Trojan post players to simulating opposing defenses,
Katie.
Richardson does a little bit of everything at Lake City practices.
I'm definitely not a head coach mentality for basketball, so Bill is very, very good at what he does, and my job is just to support him however he needs, or to bring a post look or outlook from things.
The Lake City Trojans have won 12 games in a row and are 15-1 this season. That success is a testament to the hard work of the Trojan players. But from Katie Richardson to Jeff Hingston, there are plenty of people behind the scenes who are a crucial part of Lake City basketball.
Those are the type of people you like to have in your school.
And now, let's hear it for your Lake City Trojans.
In the team's next game against Beale City, Mr. Hingston gets the crowd ready to go.
Number 4, Riley Cahoon.
In the game's opening minutes, the Trojans' play keeps the energy up.
Riley Cahoon for 3.
The Trojans race to a 12-3 lead at the end of the first quarter. And in the second quarter, there's one name Mr. Hingston is saying again and again.
Hogan for 2. Peyton Hogan for 2. Peyton Hogan for 2.
Peyton Hogan scores the team's first 9 points of the second quarter, and a pull-up jumper from Mackenzie Bisball with just over a minute to go pushes the halftime lead to 23-9. It's another night where everything is going right for Lake City. At the end of the third quarter by Haley Vanderteeg caps it off. The Trojans beat Beale City 49-30 and follow it up with a 54-20 win over Roscommon on Friday. The winning streak has reached 14, and if the Trojans can win their next 2 games, they'll clinch at least a share of the conference championship.